News just in, straight from cult headquarters. Tesla shareholders have declared our Lord and Saviour, Electric Jesus, the economist formerly known as Elon Musk, to be the company's most valuable asset. It appears that the Lord's BS is so impossibly pure, so unadulterated, and so powerful at weaponising the confirmation bias of the faithful that the shareholders think this is worth about $9,000 US for every one of the 5 million Teslas that have ever been built. Not a bad bonus if you can get it, is it? 9,000 times 5 million. I'll take it, have it wrapped and sent to my suite. In other news, still no contact officially from intelligent extraterrestrial life cloaked in geosynchronous orbit. Coincidence? I'm Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au. New cars cheap, but Australia only. Website, card. Bit of a Friday Tesla roundup for you right now. There's been so much excellent Tesla reporting in the news lately. It would be remiss not to all have a giggle on Friday afternoon in relation to this. I've got 6 emotionally uplifting, spiritually fulfilling, and intellectually challenging reports right now orbiting the cult of Elon Musk and the business he has so diligently built around himself, electric Scientology. Tesla's most valuable product is now officially the holy bullshit flowing from the hallowed pie hole of Electric Jesus himself. That's been beatified. They had a vote and everything. Now, back in January, you might remember a somewhat heretical Delaware judge named Kathleen St. Jude McCormick, whom I sincerely hope has a horizontal format business card, for obvious reasons, said, and here I must paraphrase, "Fuck off, Elon. That $56 billion you had hoped to hoover out of your somewhat elaborate Ponzi scheme is really just a gift from you to you, and now everyone knows it. So, how about jamming this quaint proposal where not even the electric Pope would dare to wash?" So, ever the innovator, EJ pulled a stunt at Thursday's annual shareholder meeting, getting the package approved by shareholders like the faithful. After a vote that means essentially nothing because it doesn't actually overturn Princess Longname of Delaware's official ruling from court. Then they tilted the shell game even further by moving Tesla's legal address over to Texas from Delaware. Texas, of course, where it's okay to walk down the street with Liberace's AR under your arm and the safety off because, freedom, obviously. Clearly, Princess Longname has no real clout in Texas, and the world's biggest bullshitter who isn't Donald Trump can therefore expect on appeal, I suppose, a more favourable result from a good, God-fearing, gun-toting man in a wig. Let's hope. Tesla says that's not the objective of the move at all, so you can basically almost guarantee that it is. The biggest losers in this case will be the company itself and its products, of course, ever closer to that BYD takeover. You mark my words. Tesla is already halfway to the deep ocean outfall on new product research and development, of course. Cybertruck is pretty much an abject failure. They can't sell the outdated cars that they actually can make, and the best hokum even the Lord can stump up at this point concerning the future is robo-taxis. Again, plus AI, and of course, Optimus, the alleged humanoid robot allegedly running full self-driving but on 2 legs instead of 4 wheels, but which is really just a CGI exercise with a dude in a green jumpsuit standing in front of a green screen. This report is sponsored by NordVPN. Get 4 extra months of Nord for free now, plus a huge discount at nordvpn.com/AE JC. Online security threats and scams are everywhere, but you don't have to be the next victim. That's where NordVPN comes in. Nord does the stuff that you and I don't really understand in the background, hiding your IP address, locking everything down. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. Your exclusive Auto Expert discount is huge right now, plus you're going to get 4 extra months completely free. nordvpn.com/AEJC. I'll put a link in the description. Just subscribe, download the app and connect. One click later, your IP address is shielded and your online traffic is heavily encrypted across as many as 6 of your devices. Nord is the fastest VPN on the planet. It costs only about as much as 1 cup of coffee every month to keep your data, your identity and your devices secure. Masking your location means you'll also get access to streaming and other services that might be blocked where you live. Plus, you can continue to watch your favourite content when you travel. You might even be able to score some great online travel deals that are unavailable where you live. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. Boost your security and enjoy that huge discount plus those extra 4 months completely free. It's totally risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/AEJC. Link in the description. Speaking of spare Teslas, there are now so many loitering in car parks unsold that you actually can see them from space. Forget about being on a waiting list, right? Except for the Cybertruck, of course, the rolling urinal made from that mystical new but not actually bulletproof, rust-proof or even car wash-proof stainless steel from space. The Big T actually made 433,371 electric shitboxes in Q1 of this year. But it sold only 386,810. That would be according to them. That means 46,561 Teslas are just kind of parked up here and there, gradually going flat. Excess stock is pretty much a disaster for any car maker because of the sky-high input cost of production and the relatively low profit margins. There doesn't need to be much of a disparity between production and sales for profitability to... And all the discounting certainly has not helped either. Anyway, Tesla's current cardinal of the coin, a dude named unpronounceable Teneja, put the stockpile down to, quote, an increase in inventory from a mismatch between builds, end quote. To which I would retort, dude, that's got to be bullshit. Come on. Tesla makes only 2 cars in any great quantity, the Model Y and the even more dated Model 3. How mismatched could the builds actually get in this situation? Draw me a diagram because I'm not seeing it. Now, using satellite images from Sky-Fi, an online satellite imagery service, a news service called Sherwood News literally has been able to see the stockpile of unsold Tesla shitters from space by comparing images from a random Thursday last October to a random Thursday this March. There's a lot more Teslas just parked up now, apparently. Specifically, $2.5 billion worth of them just standing there, all going flat incrementally. Or, to put it another way, roughly 5% of the Messiah's proposed compensatory package. According to Jalopnik, which is an excellent automotive web resource, you should check them out. According to Jalopnik, roughly 5% of all Cybertrucks ever delivered are currently being flipped in online marketplaces. So that's either 300 enthusiastic profiteers committing heresy by disobeying Electric Scientology's decree not to sell the magic urinal inside the first year of ownership under pain of $50,000 US in fines per incident and also excommunication from the cult. Or it could be 300 people who have reached a grim conclusion that Engadget was actually right and they have become sick of being seen in and identified with Tesla's, quote, dystopian, masturbatory fantasy. One of those people closer to the latter group, perhaps, is a dude named Blaine Radin from Salt Lake City. And this story proves that, sadly, Tesla's largesse is reserved only for the big guy upstairs. If you're just a customer or something, it's almost as if you don't really matter. Now, to be fair, no word yet on how many wives Mr. Radin has or had. I think it was only one back then and none now, but hey, in Salt Lake City, one never really knows. Anyway, when he first ordered his fine rolling urinal, he had a house and at least one wife. Now he's domiciled in an apartment, indicating maybe he has at least one less wife now. Who would really know? Maybe he just had one wife back then and none now. Maybe he got rid of all of them. Who knows? Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. Shit happens. And it's often for the better. 3 of my 5 ex-wives would agree on that. Number 4, certainly. And, of course, the sisters. Number 3 and 5. Little sister last. That's the way to do it. Pro tip. Anyway, the terrestrial space urinal is kind of large. And as such, it doesn't actually fit in Mr. Radin's allocated parking space in his new digs. Blessing in disguise, I suppose. So he goes to the dealer, or he approaches the cult via the dealer, and he hits them up for an exemption to return his fine magic rolling pisser due to unforeseen wife downsizing and consequential dwelling diminution. And they said, and here again I must paraphrase, fuck off, wifeless Blaine. Don't even think about it, dude. That might trigger the $50,000 fine you agreed to in writing back when you first joined our fine cult and you thought this was all a grand idea. Plus, we might slap you with a lifetime ban on buying any future Teslas. So, a bit of bad and then maybe some good news there, perhaps. It goes without saying that a dude recently downsizing on the wives seldom has a spare, 50 grand just lying around, gagging to be donated to the Elon Musk $45 billion peak bullshit GoFundMe. It's unlikely, isn't it, that it just, draws somewhere. Oh, goodness me. This is mainly because, obviously, when the downsizing occurs, she gets her half and then negotiates for half of your half, typically, and you cave in, and then she petitions the court for half of what's left, often quite successfully, twice. And then, when you ultimately cave in and give her everything, your lawyer, if he's any good, will warn you that it's probably not over. Because, they're seldom satisfied with just everything. Not that anyone's bitter about this, of course. So, that seems a bit rough to me. 50 grand on top. The urinal return tax. It doesn't seem fair. Wifeless Blaine does not need that additional kick in the slats right now. Perhaps you're sick of your cyber urinal looking just like everyone else's. Fear not. If that's you, there is hope, finally. If you need even more compensation, just make like Jerry Rig Everything on YouTube, who has made a cyber pisser even more tacky by dropping an incredible $60,000 US on it to have it electroplated in actual gold. Nice one, dude. So impossibly classy. Jesus. It's a huge achievement now that I think about it, only not in a good way. Thank God, and for complete disambiguation here, I refer unashamedly to the quote-unquote real one, upstairs. Thank God that this was a sponsored project and not just some moment of bad taste personal weakness like that Narelle Forever tattoo you got in Bali. On your tongue. What you're looking at, of course, is the Cybertruck someone like Saddam Hussein is probably driving right now in paradise. Only minus the diamond-encrusted M2HB on a monopod, obviously. I sincerely hope gold plating of this vehicular nature does not become the new black for cashed-up boomers in outback Australia. Can you imagine the number of gold-plated 300 series Land Cruisers and their equally tasteless 3.5-ton aluminium and gold Porter slum chitoires, which we would see parked up on the banks of Dingo Piss Creek? You'd need to wear a freaking welding helmet on approach on a sunny day. It's already tragic and tasteless enough out there. Dude, think of the children. And finally, some uplifting Tesla news. Mensa candidate, Tesla hater and TikTok legend Ludwig has performed a critical science experiment and answered the burning question that's been on all of our lips for quite some months now. What would happen if you dropped a 4-inch tungsten cube onto a Model S from several stories up?
Here it is! Oh!
Isaac Newton, inventor of the apple, would be so impossibly proud, I think, of what we've become as a species. Now, what would happen indeed? Correct answer. It just steams straight through as if the Model S isn't actually there. And the cube emerges completely, totally unscathed, as if by magic.
Oh my god. It's fine. Dude, it's not even slightly...
No, it's just a little dusty.
I thought it was gonna shatter.
Just when you think you know everything about tungsten cubes, shit like this happens, am I right? Unfortunately, the experiment did not actually end in a giant fuck-off fireball, following a tungsten cube-induced catastrophic lithium-ion thermal runaway. That would have been beyond merely perfect, now that I think about it. Not to mention a far better story. Anyway, as things stand, the Model S in question was already fairly rooted pre-experiment, by the look of things, but to be fair, it is a lot worse in the after photographs. The tungsten cube emerged mint. Tungsten is a very tough metal, right? Not to mention roughly twice the density of steel. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. It's like 19 tons per cubic metre, whereas steel's about 8, depending on what flavour. A 4-inch cube of tungsten weighs just over 20 kilos, imagine that. And I specifically reported that data to you in this way to fuck you over equally, no matter whether you live in a metric or an imperial nation state. I'm all about the equality, dude, and you're most welcome.
Here it is! Oh!
A catastrophic battery fire with the full emergency services hazmat response would have been so much cooler. Or, I guess, hotter. Whatever. Better is what I'm trying to imply. If we're writing this for the movies, there has to be that fire. Catastrophic thermal runaway, of course, peaks at just under about 2800 degrees C, 2780 or 2790, whatever, doesn't matter. But tungsten doesn't actually melt until 3422 C. So, the Model S could have gone down in a proper blaze of glory, and the tungsten cube would still have emerged totally unscathed. How frickin' Jedi would that have been? So, if you'd like to perform the next obvious experiment flowing from Ludwig's groundbreaking initial work on tungsten versus Tesla, You might like to ask wifeless Blaine from Salt Lake City if it's okay for you to drop your own tungsten cube onto his cyber pisser from his bachelor pad balcony onto his undersized parking space, all in the name of science. After the green light from wifeless Blaine and obviously the body corporate, pretty much the only other things you're going to need then are gravity and a high purity tungsten cube, which can be yours for just $4,843.62 on AliExpress. That tungsten cube, dude, it's gorgeous. Look me in the eye and tell me that you don't want one. So much cooler than a Cybertruck and just 1/5 of the price. Plus, it actually is bulletproof and it's never going to go out of style. And they can build one for you any time. And nobody's going to care if you flip it immediately.